let's get into it. So here's our agenda. We'll go through some introductions of our special person on the call today. And then we've got our 5 stages of agency growth. That is our topic for today's webinar. We're going to talk about specializing, productizing, systematizing, all of the ISs, basically. So we'll go ahead and go through all of those. And then how Keap's partner programs can help you scale and grow your business. And you're going to want to stick around to the end of our webinar today because we have an insane, special, incredible offer for you. So stick around to the end. You're not going to want to miss it. Before we pop into everything, my name is Alicia Romo. I am a partner development manager here at Keap. I've been here for a little bit over a year, and essentially my title is just a fancy way to say I speak to new prospective partners, figure out if partnering with Keap is a good fit for you and your business. And then we talk about next steps there. I also have with me on the call today, Dan. Dan, can you pop in and say hi to everyone?
Hello, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for being here today.
Yes, awesome. Thanks, Dan, for being here with us too. And then without further ado, I'm going to introduce our special guest. It is our CEO and co-founder, Clate Mask. Few fun facts about him. He founded Keap, which is formerly Infusionsoft, in 2001. He pioneered CRM and marketing automation software for small businesses. So powerhouse individual, super excited for the content he's going to share today. And the author of a New York Times bestseller, Conquer the Chaos. Who doesn't want to do that, right? And here are his handles on social media. Clate Mask, thank you for joining us. We're so excited to have you on this webinar today.
Thank you, Alicia. Great to be here. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Awesome. Well, let's hit it. Let's go for it, right? You ready to rock and roll?
All right, sounds good. Let's go.
Let's do it.
So what we're going to talk about today is a model that Scott and I came up with over the years of working with small businesses and watching the very predictable stages of growth that they go through. As we were writing Conquer the Chaos, we did a ton of research. We'd spent about a decade working with small businesses to help them grow. And we could see these trends, these predictable steps in the progression of our customers as they were growing. And over time, we began to recognize that there's actually a very predictable way that businesses grow, especially in the early stages. And so we created that stages of growth model and began teaching and speaking and helping businesses grow through it. And a couple of years ago, we said, wow, it really makes a ton of sense when you look at it from the standpoint of agencies as they're growing their businesses. And so this is something I love to speak about because as you work in your consulting businesses, your agencies, working to help small businesses grow, this applies to you and to your clients. So let's get right to it. And I'll explain a little bit more about this model. And we'll talk about how you can actually apply this from the standpoint of a playbook to grow your agency. So next click here. As we go through this, we're going to talk about the challenges that stagnate businesses at these stages. And we're going to talk about the drivers that can push you through it. We're also going to talk about how you can differentiate from other agencies, from competition out there by specializing your services. And then what we're going to really try to help you focus on is the power to grow your business in a very efficient, profitable way by productizing your services to drive client loyalty, referrals, and word of mouth. Okay, so let's jump into the model and let's talk about what we mean by these stages of agency growth. You'll notice that across the top there are 5 stages. The first stage is the consultant on the left, and we actually break this down into sort of 2 parts because there's so many solopreneurs out there in the world, so many agencies that are in their budding stage as a solopreneur, where sometimes they haven't yet quit the day job and other times they have and they're all in on their business. And so because this number 1 stage is so big, we've broken it into 2 parts. The freelancer on the left side, the self-employed solopreneur on the right side, where the distinguishing factor is whether you've quit the day job, meaning that you're all in as your sole source of income. It's the main way you provide for yourself, your family. And that is what we mean by a solopreneur that's all in. Okay, so stage one's pretty simple. It's a one-person consultant, either has quit the day job or hasn't. And usually the monthly sales here is under 50 grand a year. About, if you're a freelancer, you're trying to ramp up. And then once you get to the point where you get over that 50,000 mark, you start to feel like, you know what, it's time to make the leap. I'm going to go all in on this. So think back when you started your business. Maybe some of you are in this stage right now, and you remember that process of becoming a self-employed consultant in stage one. Then stage two, going across the top, is what we call a consultancy. This is 2 or 3 people. It's frequently the consultant, the main person that started the business, with an assistant or 2, maybe a partner. Sometimes there's a partnership here. And I'm going to kind of explain to you a little bit more about these stages. At this point, the business is generating between 100,000 and 300,000 a year. And the biggest hurdle is that somebody needs to specialize in sales. In particularly, how do you go to market? Before you get to this stage, when you're in stage one, you're kind of always in the motion of doing the service for the customer. Then you occasionally go and spend time generating sales. But as a consultancy, to get past this 300,000 mark, one person in the business really needs to take on that responsibility to help the business specialize, stand out in the market, and be able to close sales. All right, so now let's move to stage 3. This is a small agency. It's 4 to 10 employees, 300,000 to $1 million in annual sales. The team is really just one team. And when you get to this point, you're trying to productize your business. You're trying to get to where you are not just trading hours for dollars, but you're starting to productize what you do, and you're able to market that to your niche in a very effective way. And that's the key. Marketing to the niche, a productized service. That's the key to getting past $1 million in annual sales. And then you move into the boutique agency. This is stage 4. This is where you've become very specialized. You've got a niche that you serve very well. You've got 11 to 25 employees. Things at this stage really are humming, and you're generating between 1 and 3 million a year in sales. And now you start to have multiple teams. You have a team that really focuses on fulfillment, and maybe a team that focuses on sales and marketing, client success. But you start to have a bigger team here, and that 11 to 25 employees, it's very, very difficult for the owner to manage that whole thing. And when businesses get stuck here, it's because the owner is really trying to manage it all herself or himself. And what they need to get over this hurdle is they've got to systematize. They need people and systems to help them grow the business in a scalable way that isn't so dependent on the owner of the business. Okay, once you get to that point, you get to 3 million in sales. Now you're pushing into a mid-size agency. You've got 26 to 100 employees. You've really begun to scale the business. The business doesn't depend on you. You've got 3 to 10 million in annual sales. You've got a true management team that's reporting up to the leader. And the biggest hurdle to get past this stage, past 10 million, is you've got to build a real leadership culture, or a real leadership structure with a culture that goes far beyond the leaders of the business, where the company is really starting to become a strong agency that is capable of generating revenue of over 10 million plus and not dependent on the leader of the business. Okay, so this is kind of the lay of the land. I appreciate the comments here, people sharing kind of where they are in their business, the things that you've accomplished. You know, when you're in that one person stage, you feel so alone. You feel like you're all by yourself. And I know what that's like, but I love the fact that folks like Attila and Melissa, you're in that 1B as self-employed, and you're starting to generate income. You're starting to look at this thing and say, hey, this is a real business, and I've got some real potential here. And when you surround yourself with a community of like-minded folks that are working their way through these stages, you can really accelerate your growth and work through some of the challenges. So thank you for sharing where you are, the stages that you're in. I hope this resonates with you. I've spoken about this model. I've talked about this model to literally hundreds of thousands of entrepreneurs, into the millions at this point, through various webinars, live events, you name it. And I've found that for service businesses, this model really resonates. Sometimes if you're in manufacturing or retail, the numbers are off a little bit. It doesn't quite make sense. But for service businesses, this is very much an effective "you are here" map, where you can see where you are and then figure out what you need to do to get to the next stage. Okay, so let's jump into it. Let's talk about these stages. I'm going to go through stage one. This is the consultant stage. And when you are, pretty much everybody was here at one point. Sometimes people start out as a partnership, but if you've started the business yourself, you're in this stage. And what happens here is you just don't have enough time in the day. You're trying to do your day job. You're also trying to get the agency going. And you sometimes will have a client or two that you're taking on, and that helps you to kind of get the business going. Other times you're just freelancing and taking on little projects here and there. So what happens in this stage is the overwhelm of all that you're trying to do can become so challenging because you just can't invent more hours in the day. But the key here is to remember the mantra, keep going. You've got to stay focused, keep going, recognize that the goal that you're digging for is just a few feet away. You've got to keep working at it and stay tenacious in pursuing the goal. Don't let that knock you off course, because the challenges are significant. Because you're in the process of sorting things out, sometimes your offering is a little bit bumpy and customers complain and you're feeling frustrated. And the real issue here is inside of your mind, you've got to stay strong. You've got to know that you can do this, that you've got it, that everybody started at this place at some point. And if you'll just stay consistent and keep working at it, you will work your way through this. Now, there are some hacks here. You're trying to find more hours in the day. And so anytime you can double up on things, anytime you can put some effort and time into your business, you're making an investment that will pay off. The biggest hack here that I see agency owners, consultants do successfully is they set aside time and they make that sacred time that they don't cut into. Because if you don't do that, everything else crowds out the time that you want to spend on your consultancy. So make sure you're using that hack to find more time and set aside that time. You might start with 2 hours a week and then it turns into 4 hours a week, but push yourself to get more and more time that you can put into your agency so that you can begin growing it. Okay, so let's keep moving here. At stage 2, it starts to get really interesting. You have challenges now where you're trying to generate leads and produce sales in your business. And if you don't have a focused intention on it, it becomes impossible to move past this stage. So let me explain what I mean. Next slide. When you're in this stage, what happens is everything starts to feel like chaos. You've got clients, you've got time management things you're dealing with. You have a person or two that you're working with in the business, and you're trying to ultimately, in a very simple, oversimplified way, you're trying to go from turning a lead into a happy client. But the path to do that starts to feel very circuitous. And there's so many things going on, because what's happening in this stage of the business is you are generating leads, trying to serve the clients. You've got issues that are popping up, deadlines. If you try to push some of the work off to one of your team members, it seems to always come back onto your plate. And so you struggle to find the time to dedicate to the sales process, the lead conversion process. And what happens is, because you're not focused on the lead conversion process, instead you're focused on serving your client, which is admirable and honorable and understandable. But the problem is, then what happens is you're all over the board in the process of converting a lead into a client. And what's happening here is you don't have anyone specialized on that. And so you don't have an actual process for turning leads into clients. And isn't it ironic? Because you're frequently talking to your clients about what they can do to turn leads into clients and improve the sales and marketing in their business. Yet in your own business, you've got this chaos that you're dealing with. and well, on the one hand, you're chasing new retainers, but you've got project-based work you're trying to manage. You've got all kinds of technologies that you're using, so things are slipping through the cracks, and you really are dropping the ball when it comes to follow-up. Now, this is no judgment. I don't mean this to sound harsh in any way. This is what all small businesses are dealing with. And one day you wake up and you realize, I got to change. I've got to have a process for converting leads into clients. And specifically, it's about having someone who specializes in that process. So whether that's you as the business owner or a member of your team, by the way, I would recommend that you figure out the process first. Someone has to be responsible for making it rain. Someone has to be responsible for making sales, and specifically for that lead conversion process to turn leads into new clients. Okay, so let's keep going here. The key thing to remember is that follow-up failure is what plagues the growth at this stage of the business. It's so common. And in fact, nearly half of sales are lost because of poor follow-up. Why? Because people don't have time. They don't have a system. They don't know how to do it. And most of all, like I've described, they don't have someone who actually focuses on it. So don't let follow-up plague your growth. Don't let it hamstring you. Next slide. Here's the key thing. When you specialize, what you're doing is you're recognizing the market that you serve, and then you are having someone focused entirely on generating leads and turning them into clients that serves that market. Now, if you look at this slide, you'll see that when you look at the agencies out there, the results for agencies, 518 million. I mean, there are so many agencies out there. And so you want to get into a place that you specialize. And that all starts with you identifying what you do best and having a person, actually, it starts with a person on your team who's focused on bringing in clients. And that comes down to not just any client, but clients who you can serve effectively. So that's where we start to get into this next stage. Once you get past 300,000, we move into the next stage of growth. So next slide. This is what we call the small agency. 4 to 10 employees, over 300,000, but under a million in annual sales. And this to me is where the follow-up and the specialization really start to bear fruit as you find your niche and begin to productize your service. So let's talk about that. Next slide. The reason that most small businesses struggle to get past this 300,000 mark is not just that they don't specialize, it's that they really don't have the time to serve their clients and to find new clients. They're always working off the hours. They're trading hours for dollars is a way that I like to say it. And they get caught in the hamster wheel in a service business where the business is highly dependent on the specialist in the company. That's usually the owner. Sometimes it's an amazing subject matter expert that the owner brings in, but the business is highly dependent on the time of that person. The clients depend on it. The sales process depends on it. And you just can't exchange. You can't trade off some hours to work on growing the business, because you get paid by putting those hours into the client project. And so the tricky part about this stage is that, yes, you need to specialize, but you're trying to break free from the grind of delivering on clients' projects. And it's very challenging. And so that's why it's critical that you find your niche, and then you actually package up your services, the hours in the day, so to speak, and deliver them to clients in a more efficient manner. And that's what you want to accomplish in this stage to get past the $1 million sales as an agency. Let's go to the next slide. Instead of selling time, you have to recognize that there's only so much of you to go around. So your competitor down the street's not the biggest problem. Your time is the biggest problem. And we've got to get more out of that time. So next slide. How do we actually do that? What it comes down to is to grow the value of the agency. you've got to productize what you do. That means that, let me explain this. Sometimes people struggle to understand how they might do this, but let me explain what we did in the very early days of our business. So early on, we were a software development agency. That's what we did. We wrote custom software products for customers. Everything I've just described to you in terms of the trade-off of hours for dollars, trying to break free from the grind and trying to get more hours to put into acquiring customers, acquiring new clients, growing the business. That was a huge challenge for us because we were charging hourly. So what we did is we took a step back and we recognized, okay, there are certain things that we're doing all the time for clients. Let's package that into a core offering that we provide, and then let's customize off of that core offering. So for us, we created kind of a core bundle of our software product, and we sold that for, I remember the first time we sold it for $1,500, it was like, holy crap, we just sold this for $1,500 and we didn't do any work whatsoever. This is amazing. And then we did hourly customizations on top of that. So the project might be a $10,000 or $15,000 project, but we got 10% of it up front at the beginning without having to put any dollars into it. There's an analogy of that for you in your business. There's something you're providing consistently. In our case, it was a certain part of our code that we could replicate. But over time, we found that there was more we could add to that. And pretty soon we were selling the core for $2,500 or for $5,000. And the hourly customizations began to reduce to the point that eventually we had a product that we were able to sell, and we would do hourly customizations, but it was only maybe 10% of what we were doing. And we've effectively, over about a 2-year period of time, we didn't have a big pile of money to throw at it. We had to figure out and bootstrap our way through this, but we blended gradually from, or we transitioned gradually from a purely hourly solution to a purely productized solution. And it happened over a gradual period of about 2 or 3 years, to where eventually we had our Infusionsoft product and there was no customizations you could do. We would take feature requests, and as we listened to customers' features requests, we would make those improvements. But we were charging for the product and a monthly subscription, and we got our software service into a product. So this is an analogy for you, something that you can look at and say, okay, well, what am I doing over and over that I could bundle up, that I could package up into a bronze, silver, gold package, not just in terms of the level of service they get from me, but the amount of pre-work that's already done, the amount of product that I'm providing versus service. This is the key to breaking out of the hamster wheel, to getting to $1 million in sales as an agency, where you're not just dependent on trading your hours for dollars or your staff's hours for dollars. Of course, you're going to have staff that do this. You're going to have staff that deliver on client retainers, and you're going to have some service in your business, most likely. Most agencies don't transition 100% to a product, but some do. Some actually get to a productized service where they just have package A, B, and C, and then they do a little bit of advisement on that, and the client buys the package. I know, you can think of that as a website and a branding package that you do. You can think of that as, and you can have templates for that. There's all kinds of different ways that you can do this, but the principle is free up your time by charging the same client, by charging a new client for the same work you've already done. That's what we're trying to do here. And it is the key to unlocking your growth to get to $1 million in sales as an agency. Okay, so that's stage 3. Let's talk about the next stage. Now it starts to get really interesting. Now you've got $1 million business. By the way, that's a heck of an accomplishment, because only about 3% of businesses in the United States are doing $1 million or more. You stop and think about that. Only 3%. Actually about 7% are doing it. About 3% of businesses that start ever get to that point. So when you start your business and you get to $1 million, you are in rare air. This is an amazing accomplishment, and you should feel really good about that. Well, welcome to stage 4. Now things get really interesting, because now you grow past 10 employees and past $1 million in sales. You get to You're generally between 11 and 25 employees here, and you've got a boutique agency. You've got a specialty, you've got a niche, you're known for something. By the way, your family members are no longer worried about you. They actually brag about you to their friends. Mom's really pleased with what you're doing because you made it through all those tough times when she was the only person that believed in you. And so you're in a place where you're really proud of what you're accomplishing. But now things start to get really tricky, and no longer are you able to lead one team to accomplish the goals. So a lot of times you'll get to this stage and the nice trajectory, and I'm not going to say smooth sailing because it's never quite smooth sailing, but things were moving along pretty nicely as you went from about 500,000 or 600,000 to $1 million. And now you're the growth is slowing. You're bumping up against some issues and challenges, and you're frequently trying to apply the same specialization, productization plays to your playbook. But that's not what's needed here. Now what's needed is you've got to really systematize what you do. And this is where your expertise, especially as you come into the Keap community, by the way, the Keap family is all about systematizing. This is where it becomes critical for you to not only have your specialization, the niche that you serve, and to be efficient with your productized solutions, but you need to find ways to where you can now scale the business and you're not the bottleneck. Not just the bottleneck in terms of the doing the work. Hopefully you got past that in the prior stage. I'm talking about the bottleneck where you have all the answers, where you have to be the smartest person in the room. One of the challenges that causes businesses to get stuck in stage 4 is the owner is not extending out the leadership circle. And that's the key thing that needs to happen here. You as an owner need to bring on a team member or two who are not just working for you, they're working with you to lead the agency. Now, this is scary stuff for business owners. This is not, we are all by nature control freaks to a certain extent. And so relinquishing this amount of control can be really challenging. It was hard enough to do when you were relinquishing control of a key client account or of the specialized work that you do really well that you've now hired someone else to do. And by the way, sometimes they do it even better than you. Isn't that amazing? Now you need to expand your leadership circle. So next slide. This is a trick because you've got to have leaders that help you to deliver a solution for your clients that scales. So what do I mean by this? Well, here's what it can start to look like when you're the bottleneck and you're the leader that has to have all the answers. Your team members are trying to deliver. And so you and your team members start to feel like your agency is kind of getting disorganized. Things are getting really confusing. What seemed to be working pretty smoothly at the prior stage is now causing problems, and you're dropping the ball, and you hate that. You pride yourself on fixing that follow-up and being there for your clients, but things are feeling kind of chaotic. And truth be told, a lot of times agency owners feel very tired when they're in this spot between 1 and 1.5 million. And they're contemplating selling or going back to a smaller team. They're feeling very unfulfilled because the business was growing and now it's not growing as fast. And as much as you try to solve the problem yourself, you're bumping into issues. But it's not just what you feel. Your clients are having an experience where they're not feeling like you get them. There's a lot of friction. These new these clients you had for a long time really appreciate you, but new clients are coming in and they're feeling forgotten and maybe in the dark in your process, and things feel too reactive. And the key is at the center of this slide. Your client management process is off. Let's go back to the prior slide for just a second. Your contacts are all over the place. You're using different point solutions, and your system for how you effectively move people through your client experience is off. It feels very manual. So next slide. What we need to do here is you and your team need to get the client management system in place where you have your CRM, your tools, your insights, communications, and most of all, automation. This is the key here. You're automating what you and your team members do very well so that you can have leaders in place that you don't feel so much concern about relinquishing control. Together, you're creating this client experience and making it a great experience for them. They're saying, hey, they get me. That was easy. This agency is really on the ball. Finally, someone understands what I need, and I'm having a consistent experience. And you're feeling organized, streamlined, a step ahead, if not 2 steps ahead, and in touch with your customers. No longer are you romanticizing ideas of getting out of the business and selling it off or shrinking it down. You're excited about the growth because you've systematized the growth of the business with your team of a couple of leaders. Now you're feeling like you can go to this next stage of beyond 3 million. And that's what we want to talk about next in the next stage. All right, so now you get to what we call a mid-size agency. This is a business that's got 26 to 100 employees. So it's not just a boutique that's become a specialist that's doing really well. You're now being well-known, well regarded for the work that you do, and client retainers are getting bigger. You're having projects and productized services that you're able to sell. You've gone from organizing and productizing and systematizing to now really scaling your agency with a team that doesn't rely entirely upon you. And so that's the key here. Let's go to the next slide and we'll talk about this team. What happens when businesses get stuck in this stage is what I want to alert you to. Most of you are not yet in this stage, but you can identify with the concept and you can realize that when you get to 25 plus employees, now the small family feel of what you created has kind of gone away. Now you're hiring people that you don't know, and they're hiring people that they don't know. So your system becomes critical, and your leaders to lead people successfully to use that system become indispensable. And so this now becomes a leadership game, not just the small leadership team that worked closely with you to create your system, but now you've got to have a team where you can truly empower them to lead functions of the business. That you have a leader that will lead all of your client experience, and you have a leader that will lead all of your sales and marketing, and you have a leader that will lead your productization, and you've got a leader that might handle all of the administrative and back office. You're going to have a 3 or 4 person team reporting to you as the leader of the company. And it's critical here that you get the leadership right, because you might be saying, well, I don't want to be that leader, but I assure you, just like you learned how to get through the lead generation stage or to get through some of the prior stages we talked about, you can and will learn this leadership. And it doesn't have to be that you go to business school and get an MBA or that you were born with certain capabilities. So don't tell yourself that. You can build an agency that makes an impact for your clientele in a really massive way with 26 to 100 employees, and create an agency that's an incredible blessing to all of your clients and your partners and your employees, everybody that you work with. So I always like to encourage entrepreneurs to not just hand over the reins to somebody else when you get to that stage. Get rid of the thought or notion that you can't be that leader. You absolutely can be. And in a community like the Keap family, you'll learn ways you can do that. We're here to support you as you grow your agency through these stages. So let's go to the next slide, and I'll leave with you a couple key things about this stage. So when you're building this leadership team of 3 or 4 people that lead this agency to grow the business, the agency from 3 million to 10 million and beyond, the way that you set the way that you set the leadership is through the vision of the company, and you co-create this together. The vision is your purpose, your values, and your mission. And when you do the work together with a couple of your leaders to create this, remember in the prior stage, you had a couple of earlier stage leaders that were helping you create your system of client management to deliver great client results. Now you're co-creating the vision of the company. Now you're the main creator of it, but you don't go up onto the mountain and come down with the stone tablets and hand them to the team and say, here it is, everybody. We know how that worked. I think there was like 40 years of wandering in the wilderness when that happened. So you've got to co-create together. You've got to come together and create those as a team, but you are the rudder. You are the leader to make sure it feels right to your internal compass on this. But setting the vision where you are clear on your purpose, that's why you do what you do as an agency. You're clear on your mission, that's what you do as an agency. And you're clear on your values, that's how you do it as an agency. Here's how we do it here. That's the setting the vision. So next part. This is critical. The way that you create an amazing leadership team and an incredible culture where everybody in your company wants to be a part of what you're doing is you hire, train, and fire to your purpose, values, and mission. Let that sink in. Most of the time when we go hire somebody, our natural tendency is to go hire for the skill set, of course. And that's table stakes. But start with, does this person fit our well-articulated purpose, values, and mission? At Keap, our purpose is to liberate and empower entrepreneurs to strengthen families, communities, and economies. That's our purpose. We liberate and empower entrepreneurs. So if I'm looking for a great accounting leader, it doesn't do me any good to go interview 5 different accounting leaders who all fit from a skill set standpoint if I haven't first done the screening on the purpose, values, and mission. Because if I get to the end of the interview process on skill set, and now I apply a filter of do they fit our purpose, values, and mission, I've done everybody a great disservice. I've wasted a bunch of time, and I might fall in love with a candidate and justify the hiring of them even though they don't fit the purpose, values, and mission. So you hire to it. You train to it. When you hire somebody and you see that, hey, here's a way to correct something that's off or to reinforce something that's on, you're constantly training and reinforcing your purpose, values, and mission. You promote to it. When people are doing well, hey, they're performing well in their role and they're a great example of our purpose, values, and mission. And then when people aren't coming around to it and you're trying to correct them, you get them off the bus, because them being on the bus is hurting everybody else. The reason cultures go sideways, the reason why that small family feel you had early on that you loved, that you want to preserve, the reason why that starts to dissipate or go away is because you're keeping people on the bus that should have been off the bus 2 stops ago. Get them off the bus. They're hurting your clients, they're hurting your coworkers, they're hurting your energy, and that might be the most important one. I'm going to tell you a quick story on this. Years ago, I had a team member that was causing a lot of friction. I knew it, but this team member was really smart. I wanted that skill set on the team, and yet it was causing a lot of problems. One day I was thinking about this problem. I happened to be grocery shopping with my 3 kids. And at the time, I have 6 kids, but at the time I had 3, and it was a nice break for Charisse that I was taking the 3 kids to go to the grocery store. And I had one toddler in the front part of the grocery cart, and I'd actually put another one of my kids in the basket of the grocery cart, and one of the other kids was walking alongside. We're walking down the lane, and I'm just feeling irritated and sluggish, and I didn't know why. And I looked over and I noticed that my 6-year-old was holding on to the cart, and I was sort of pulling the 6-year-old along unbeknownst to me. And I said, "Tanner, let go." And he let go, and there was just this rush of smoothness and energy. And I had this epiphany. That's what it's like when you're holding on to a team member that you need to let go. Let them go, because your energy needs it. The team's energy needs it. Your clients deserve it. And when everybody's working together and sharing the purpose, values, and mission, it's amazing. Okay, next point I want to make here. The other part is you need to invest in leadership. You got to invest in the growth of your leaders, help them to grow and develop so that they can hire, train, and fire to the purpose, values, and mission, so that they can be developing and growing in their path with you and their career journey with you in the company, in the agency. And then you need to scale with technology and people. And this plays off of not just developing your leaders, but developing all of your people, creating an environment where people want to grow. Okay, so when you put all of this in place with your purpose, values, mission, you hire to it, you scale with it with your technology and developing your people, you need a rhythm to make it all work. And so I recommend the following, and I recommend this for every business, not just the ones that are in stage 5. You have a weekly, monthly, and quarterly planning rhythm. And that weekly is an hour meeting with your team to check in on the progress of your growth goals, not just checking in on client status. It's the growth goals of the business. The monthly is a half day to check in on the strategic projects, not just the client projects, but the strategic projects driving the growth of the company. And the quarterly is a 1-day offsite with your leaders, sometimes 2-day offsite, depending on how much time you can allocate to it, so that you can spend the time intentionally planning the direction of the business, not just reacting to the fires and issues of the day with your clients. This planning rhythm is critical. It keeps your day-to-day activities aligned with your high-level purpose, values, and the mission that your company is up to. Okay, I hope this was useful in helping you understand how to create a leadership and team and a culture that enables you to scale your business past 10 million without having so much burden and so much weight on you as the owner, and giving you the confidence that you can do this. There's this community that you are checking out here with Keap is amazing. Let's go to the next slide. The reason why it's amazing is we talk about partnering with you to help you grow your agency. We work on partnering with you to help you grow your agency. And what I've just indicated here is the stages of agency growth. And wherever you are, we want to help you grow through the stages. I just want you to hear from me as the co-founder and CEO of the company about how much passion I have for this, how much we want to help you to grow your business, and how excited we are that you spent some time learning about this. And the key thing is, if you want to change the world for entrepreneurs, for your clients through sales and marketing automation, there's no better place. There are other partner programs out there, but to help you grow and to help your clients grow through an automation platform and through what we call the Keap family of employees, partners, and customers who are all coming together to empower entrepreneurs with automation, you're in the right place. We'd love to have you join us. And I'm going to hand it back over to Alicia so she can talk about what we do to help you grow and develop through the stages.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing this really valuable information with the people on our call today. There were a couple of comments that were like, I feel seen. I agree. Glad I joined in today. So we all really appreciate when you can hop on and have the time to share with us how to grow and scale an agency. So thank you for that. As Clate mentioned, it really is about imagining having your own personal business coach, right? That pays you to help you grow your business here. And that's what happens when you partner with Keap, right? We can take you through the stages from 1 till 5, help you with your lead generation tactics, provide you with a success coach, give you pre-built materials and content needed to market your business for training, masterminds, a whole host of different materials for you to help you with those stages of agency growth. And I'm actually going to go ahead and hand it over to Dan. Dan's going to help us out with a few of those benefits in terms of certifying and partnering with Keap and how we can help you grow.
Thank you so much, Alicia. So let's talk about the additional ways you'll benefit from partnering with us. Community. That's the first one I want to talk about. This is our partner ecosystem, and it's comprised of like-minded entrepreneurs, people who get what it's like to be an entrepreneur in your industry and are incredibly open and supportive, open to collaborate, not competitive at all. We often hear our partners say that the partner community is one of the most valuable aspects of the partnership because of the new connections they make, the way they learn from each other, and the new business opportunities that come from within the network. Before joining the recruiting team, I was a regional partner manager. And what I thought was incredible and very helpful for new partners especially, was that multiple seasoned partners had and still have a standing offer for any Keap certified partner to book an hour with them at no cost to pick their brain about strategy, resources, or how to best leverage the partnership. What was cool is that 1 hour session often turned into 3. You'll also have a dedicated partner coach called a regional partner manager. I know something about them. They're dedicated to your success and will help you leverage the tools and resources we've created for our partners, and will work with you to build a go-to-market strategy and framework for your business. Love our partner events. We have an annual partner event called PartnerCon. This year's event happened just last week, actually, and it was awesome. We had an in-person and virtual option. I must say that it was great to see all of those partners that attended in person, finally. Great content, tons of networking opportunities. We also have Partner Day twice a year. And each region frequently has regional masterminds to collaborate and share ideas within the team. As a certified partner, you'll have access to many specialized tools and resources that you'll be able to leverage to help grow your business. One resource in particular that I like to mention is a lead generation framework called Automation Workshops. These 3-day workshops have been a great tool for our partners for teaching the value of automation in your business. An example I'd like to highlight is regarding one of our partners, John, in the insurance vertical that signed up in April of this year. He had his first automation workshop in June and then another in July, and was able to sign up 20 new clients as a result. Amazing. We have our Keap marketplace. This is exclusively for certified partners where you can list your services or pre-built campaigns, and where our team actively pushes our 40,000 customers when they need sales and marketing help. When you sign up to be a Keap certified partner, you won't have a sales quota. We do, however, want to work with you to help you grow your business, and understanding the goals you've established for your business will be a big part of our focus so that we can help you achieve them. So now I think I'm turning it back to my colleague, Alicia.
Let's do it. I get the fun part of talking about money and talking about potential earnings. Thanks, Dan. All right, so let's talk about it. So what does someone make as a certified partner in our community, right? One really great aspect of this is you get recurring commissions of at least 20 to 30%. So it is a tiered system. As you perform and have some volume, it tiers up to that 30%. But it's a really good residual income earning opportunity to align with a product to automate those small business clients that you've got and get paid doing it, right? A lot of our certified partners, in fact, most of our certified partners are also charging for retainer services to manage the Keap platform in a business, as well as project-based work too. So you're able to charge for those things just like how many of you are charging for your services today. So that shouldn't be set up much differently. If it is set up a little bit different, like Dan mentioned, we've got a regional partner manager to help you kind of strategize on those products and set your rates accordingly too. We frequently offer bonuses too. So whether it is based on volume, or if you're getting started and you have a couple of clients that might be a good fit for Keap, we actually have a $500 quick start bonus to get them up and rolling. We'll help you with that onboarding piece. You don't have to worry about being in the dark with it. We'll set you up for success there. Again, monthly sales incentives come with this as well. I think Erin is going to go ahead and put our calculator in the chat as well. We have a potential earnings calculator for you to discover what your return on investment could be here too. So I highly recommend going to that earnings calculator, plugging in a few numbers. There's a couple of things there. So there will be your commission at the top. As you go into that calculator, it allows you the ability to mention how much you would charge to implement and set up Keap in a business. On average, it's about $2,500, but it all depends on what your rates are for your clients currently too. So all of those other boxes below, I get this question a lot when I'm talking to people on the phone. It's all what you would charge your clients, and that's going to spit out a number at the end. But recommend checking out that calculator. It will give you a pretty good indication of the growth ability. A lot of people ask, like, am I a good fit for this? Will I be successful doing this? What will this look like? Especially if it's the first time you're partnering with any company, right? Our most successful partners here are currently agency owners, consultants, coaches, freelancers, the ones that offer digital marketing services or improving your operational systems. So if you ever help set up tools and systems in a business, or you consult on, hey, what can we tweak in your business to make it run more smoothly, to make it automated, this would be a good fit for you, right? The ones who have small business clients too. So I always say this is a huge indicator on your success as a partner in our program is, do you work with the same customers that are a good fit for Keap and vice versa, right? We've got to have that target customer alignment before you even want to partner. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense if you're working with all enterprise level clients. We're not an enterprise level solution, right? And then those who are also actively bringing on new clients, if you have a growth strategy, if you want a growth strategy, right? Maybe you have an idea of how much you want to grow, but you're not really sure how to get there. Our team can help you with that too. So you got to have that kind of will and want to get to move forward and grow, but we can help you strategize on that as well. So don't be worried about that piece either. I did mention at the beginning that I had a couple of special offers for you. Again, they let me do the fun part, so this is great. So I'm glad you stuck around because I have a couple of really, really good things I can offer to you. So if you can go ahead and book a meeting today, I actually say book a meeting today, even if you don't know, even if you're not sure. Dan and I would love to chat with you. We'll just talk about what you've got going on in your business, if you've got any lead generation strategy, what your sales process is, all of those different things. So it's very consultative, if I will. We've got a QR code here. Typical cost for certification is $1,500. We're bumping that down for you. This is the best offer that we've ever offered anyone to certify for $299. This expires on November 15th. So you don't have a ton of time. That's why I say get on our calendars as quickly as you can so we can just chat about if this is a good fit for you. We're also offering a $500 quick start bonus as well. This means if you're able to bring on 3 new clients to Keap in the first 2 months of of entering into our certified partner program, we give you $500 to offset that initial $299 that you're spending, puts you in the green a little bit as well. I'm not sure if anyone's mentioned this in the chat, but if you are currently a Keap customer, you also get 50% off of your Keap app. Not too bad, right? And then if you also book a meeting with us today, we've got some free recorded trainings that we did last week at PartnerCon. We had some masterminds, some breakout sessions, really incredible content that I can send over to you. One being lead generation sales processes across multiple channels, scaling to 6 figures, which really aligns with our topic today, and just sales process in general. So kind of, pinning down your sales process and how to make it repeatable and scalable over time. That being said, I know Erin's putting that in the chat, and the QR code will go ahead and open up a calendar to put some time in my and Dan's calendar so we can chat. So if you have any questions, I am actually going to go ahead and open it up. I know we've got some Q&As here. I think they've gotten answered. Let me make sure we don't have anything else. I think some people love to ask, what the certification looks like. How easy is it? I can comment on that. Unless, Dan, was there a question that you wanted to comment on?
Oh, no. I was just opening myself up.
Let's do it. Perfect. That is like the number one question we get asked is, what is the certification like? And then there's another question that just popped up on what offers can partners give to their customers? So let's handle those questions for you. So certification, it's all self-paced. It's online learning. So you can schedule it in around your client meetings, around the work that you're doing. Say most people finish within about 8 to 12 hours, depending on your technical skill and capacity. If you've been with Keap or Infusionsoft before, that definitely shortens the amount of time for you to get certified. What offers can partners give their customers? We actually give our partners the ability to offer Keap at a discounted rate with a special edition package. So this is going to be a lesser price than our direct sales team offers. We don't want that competition between us and partners. We'd always rather defer to a partner, especially in terms of pricing. And you're also able to package this so that you can offer additional users and contacts in a package as well. I would say about a 40%-ish discount. Dan, would you agree? Is that what that kind of looks like?
It does.
Perfect. And then the last question, Dan, if you want to take this one, how do we sign up? Just schedule a call through the webinar link. What do you think?
I would say that is a fantastic way for you to do that. Click on that QR code, book a meeting with us, and then we can have a discussion.
Yes, yes. Well, if we don't have anything else, I just want to say thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to be on with us today. I will be sending out the recording. Actually, Aaron's going to package that up. You don't want me doing that piece. That's a whole technical thing that is not in my wheelhouse. So Aaron will send that out to you by the end of this week. And thank you again for coming. Thanks, Dan and Clate, for being on with us as well. And I look forward to chatting with you soon.
Have a great day, everyone.
All right. Bye, guys.